Philippa, such eloquence has not eased my sense of nervousness. I must admit that this is the time of the day that I've been most nervous about pulpit. Because I can only imagine the sense of trepidation that Eric and Philippa must have had when, on sort of proverbial eve of Jo's A-level exams, the exams that would determine which university she got into and possibly the course of the rest of her life, she announced that she is seeing this random Canadian that she has met at the Pizza Hut. But despite that trepidation, Eric and Philippa have done nothing but to make me feel welcome with a warmth and a generosity that is really quite astounding. Perhaps a notable example is when I was attempting to apply to Cambridge University. And there I was, headstrong at 19, and had written a letter of purpose for the university, which was somewhere retrospectively between a car salesman and just awful, awful teenage ego. Well, Eric very kindly edited that for me, and when I got the page back, I could barely see my own text from the red letter. But it is that kind of honesty, which... it has spread 2 times when I first came to England to study at Windsor Castle, and there I was as a freshman student, and Eric and Philippa arrived with some essentials for me in a little care package. Clotted cream for one, and chocolate for another. But also some things that freshman boys tend to forget. Body wash. Christmas time is, of course, always a very exciting time at the Sparse House because there's a mountain of presents to open, and the generosity of Eric and Philippa seems to just grow every time I walk in their house. And more seriously, they've helped a tremendous amount in the nitty-gritty sort of legality of immigration and in sponsoring my move to this country. So in addition to making me feel welcome in a new and sort of unfamiliar home, they have been absolutely integral to me being here. They've helped us with, I mean, this wedding has just been splendid, and by all accounts, it sounds like everyone has had a tremendous time. And it is because of months and months of preparation on their behalf. And we simply can't thank them enough. For raising Jo and being such an important part of who she is today, I personally can't thank them enough. So there are so many reasons why both Jo and I would really not be here today without them. But I'd like to say thank you very much to them. Now, Philippa has reminded me on more than one occasion that this wedding has, at times, been more like a military operation. And I believe that she's been doing that to just make sure that I understand how important it is to stay on plan. But I do think that an element of it has been to remind me who's the general and who is in charge. But really, who can complain? Because today has been such a splendid day. And again, they have marshaled together a veritable army of people. Eric has done a better job than I could of naming everyone. But Jo and I are overwhelmed at the sort of fuss that has been made for us. How everyone in the school, from faculty members and staff who have redirected, well, seemingly hundreds of Chilean children to catering staff who have done a marvelous job and served a fantastic meal which has exceeded all our expectations. The flowers have been beautiful, and it's been because of the tireless work of many people. So we thank them all for that. I must make a mention of my family, who have traveled so far to be here, and they've they've braved driving, well, I'm not going to say it's the wrong side of the road. I think we can all agree it's not the right side of the road. They've endured the fussiness of a very particular groom, but they have been such a source of love and such an immense help to me in these last few days. I really appreciate it. I really do owe everything to my parents, Dave and Susan, and their love and support has made me who I am today. And to my brother Doug and to my sisters Kristen and Katie, I have to thank you for, in equal measures, giving me a good amount of affection, but also sibling mockery to just make sure that I'm staying on the straight and narrow. So thank you all so much for being here. Now, I believe that the sort of a theme for our relationship and what I think makes tonight a particularly poignant night for us has been this theme of waiting. It feels like a bit of a long-expected party, and it may have begun with a dear friend of ours, Janet York Chapel, who was not able to be here today. But when I was traveling with her in England, before I had even met Joe, she said, "John, I think you're going to meet your true love in England." Now, I wasn't thinking of that when I first met Joe, and as our eyes met over the Pepsi dispenser, after I had made a complete mess of the entire restaurant because I was thinking I was a bit too big for my britches, and she gave me that, what I have come to know as very trademark sort of stare of real unimpressiveness. With that slight raised eyebrow. And it doesn't seem like it was that many weeks after we did start dating that people started to ask us, well, when can I buy my hat, John, for your wedding? Your wedding is going to be in England, right, John? You better be in England. And so it seems that we have waited in that way, but we've waited as well many hours in airport arrivals, lounges, waiting for university exchange programs to process our applications, immigration of all sorts and types, and even in times where, in such an airport lounge, when Joe was arriving in Vancouver, and I had been waiting anxiously. I hadn't seen each other in 4.5 months, but, no matter. And I was waiting anxiously on the edge of my seat in that arrivals lounge, and waiting for her to come to the gates. Finally she does. I run up romantically, I feel, with a flower in hand, only to be stopped at the glass barriers, and she says, "You're going to have to wait for your kiss." And then calmly and slowly just makes her way down before I can, get in my welcome to Canada to live this. So we've had all sorts of waiting. So it's all the more precious then that you are all here to share in this what seems to be a long-expected party. It does seem to be quite anticipated, and it is certainly something. It's starting a new phase for our lives where there are no deadlines, where there are no long flights that we have to take that will take us apart. There are no immigration controls that we have to pass through. There's no reason why we can be separated. So it is really very special to be able to share it with all of you. In fact, it's overwhelming that so many have come from so far and have made all the effort to be here tonight and to share in this joyous moment. We are really, truly blessed beyond measure to have you, our friends and family, who have supported us each individually and also as a couple with a warmth and a love that we deeply feel. So thank you all very much for being here. To Joe, you are my beautiful wife. You are a woman of exceptional abilities, talent, wit, and elegance. You are strength and an inspiration, a comfort and delight. You make me happy, and you have made me know what happiness is. I never want to be without you. Thank you for thinking of me. But I know that you haven't gotten here just alone. And I know that I am indebted to you, Charlotte and Michelle, for keeping Jo sweet to the idea of this marriage. I don't know anything for sure, but I imagine that there have been moments when my particularities and my, fussiness has maybe caused some frustrations at times. I'm sure that when I called 2 weeks ago from my holiday in Paris, that I hadn't quite managed to get the orders of service printed. I'm sure there was a very serious reevaluation of our relationship. So I must thank you for doing whatever it is that you did to make sure Jo was right. You're also the wonderful friends who have treated her to a fabulous hen do, which I look forward to seeing the photos, and who welcome her into your home, Charlotte, every year for New Year's, who have brought her surprise gifts on my behalf, Michelle, and Brighton, who have taught jungle speed and map hominoes. And Jo, I know, is all the richer for your friendship and love, and I know, and me as well. So I must end with a toast to Charlotte and Michelle, who have been fabulous.